What's going on, everybody? We got a packed house tonight. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Let me get Ashley here on as a panelist. There she is. Hold on real quick. I think I have to. Oh, there we go. Okay, I didn't. You're on mute, Ashley.
Hello.
I think
This
you're.
is awesome. I'm so excited.
Wait, hold on. Actually, I can't. I think I can't hear you because I have my. There we go. Let's see. Let's try
Can you hear
now.
me now?
I can. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can, yes. Perfect.
Awesome. Awesome. Great, great. Real quick, I see some people raising their hands. And we'll take questions at the end. Y'all can, if you want, you all can leave messages in the Q&A. All right. And I will come on to try to answer them as well as Ashley at the end. We want to get this party started. So don't take offense to it if I'm lowering your hand in the meantime. I think some of you at the beginning are just saying
Hello.
hi.
This is great. I love it. I love that people are already being so friendly in here. So
Yep.
friendly, so
Yep.
warm, so welcoming. The best
Yep.
vibes.
Yeah. So tonight is going to be a really cool webinar because Ashley really talks about some awesome stuff pertaining to investing as well as astrology. And I'm definitely a big believer in algorithms, right? And if we take a look at life, um, life is definitely an algorithm. All right. Like whether you believe it or not, it is filled with cycles. And it wasn't until 2018 when I, had probably a little bit of a life crisis. Like within 30 days, I ended up getting diagnosed with cancer, filed for divorce. My cat of 15 years died. Let's see, I had to move back in with my parents. All my money was going down the drain faster than I could say lickety split. And it was just like one thing after another. And I stumbled upon a teacher who helped me identify my own cycles, because when I looked back into the past, like I kept repeating the same thing over and over and over again, whether it was like, you know, business dealings and I would make a lot of money and then I would lose a lot of money, or relationships where I would end up with the same girl every single time, just a different face. And, you had certain different scenarios. But yes, Uranus, tricky ass. Exactly. And so, as I started to kind of pinpoint these things, I was like, holy shit, like we could actually apply this to our investments, but there's like a deeper meaning to this, right? Like the entire universe is on an algorithm. And that's the way I look at it. When we and I'll go into this later, but we've got, like, let's say for instance, Bitcoin um coming up on what's called a halving. So like the amount of rewards that miners get, the people who actually validate the system, um, is being cut in half. And every 4 years, the same cycle gets followed. It's like a trip, right? And so when we see all these things, you start to go, aha, all right, I think that there's a rhyme to all of this stuff. And while history doesn't repeat itself, it often rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really kind of the focus of what we're talking about today. And then I'm going to go like to the investment side. So we're gonna be talking about, like, the side that deals with kind of the man, who keeps raising their hand? Stop raising your hand, guys. I love you all, and I'm sure you're just saying hi, but you don't need to raise your hand. We're not going to call on anybody till the end. It just pops up on my screen like raising my, now somebody's going to raise their hand just to be a punk. I probably would have done the same thing many years ago. Joshua Baron, of course, Baron does it. So without any further ado, I'm going to actually let Ashley get rocking and rolling. And I know that y'all are going to enjoy this, but again, we're going to start with the astrology side, and then we're going to work into the side that where I really go deep into teaching my students how they can make passive income and why. Like where does this tie in with like the events that are actually occurring under our nose, so that you can go, hey man, maybe I want to have a little bit of crypto. And that's a big deal. So I'm going to pass it on to Ashley. I'm going to darken my screen here, and then I'll pop in when she's ready to rock and roll. So stay till the end, everybody. You're going to get some good stuff out of this.
Yeah.
All right.
And maybe, if some good questions are coming up, because when I was compiling the information here that I'm going to have, I have a little slideshow. The last thing I want is just to inundate people with information, but there is so much data with all of this. So I carefully put together a slideshow showing kind of the past, so we can look at some things that have happened in the past, so we can assess, measure, use some predictive analysis for going forward with everything in which we want to do with our lives. So let me share screen. Let me get, Mercury is retrograde right now. So let's hope here that, okay, if I do this down, then okay, sorry. Apologies, just trying to figure out how to share from a Canva. Let's see now if we go to, okay.
There we go.
What do you guys see this? Trying to see now if I go present, will it work?
That should work.
Do you see like a regular presentation, or do you still see a?
No, you have to hit present, I think. There you go.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
There we go. Now we are in business. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick little rundown on some financial astrology. So a little bit about me. I'm a coach and a business strategist. I use energetics and strategies to help people and their businesses align with what I consider to be their innate strength. So their purpose, what it is they came here to do, having that aligned then with the collective cycles, and then everything to do with the future. So just to get it started, this is a famous quote. There's like 4 different versions that are around there. Whether it's millionaires don't need astrology, billionaires do, or they don't use astrologers, billionaires do. But either way, this is a pretty well-known quote. And it ties in nicely with recognizing that when you review history and you look at some of the most successful traders and investors in history, they were mathematicians, they were numerologists, they were astrologers. Many of them, people thought that they were psychic or they were prophets of some type, but in reality, they were just really good at seeing the cycles. And many of the richest people in history as well have been known to use astrologers, as JP Morgan and several of his family members. JP Morgan was even a student of astrology. And I like to always reference that when you notice a lot of like the world leaders, they will join forces and have secret, well, not secret, but like surprise meetups during the solstices. I have only been recognizing this for the past year, but whenever one of the solstices will happen, I'll look up like world leaders meet, and you'll be like, oh, yeah. So I'm like, are they wizards? But there is something to all of this, obviously, as we're going to see here. But you see the reasons why maybe we have been somewhat conditioned to dismiss it, I think, anyways. So what is astrology? I view it as astrology being a language for us to articulate some of the correlations and connections between physical reality and the cosmos that are just outside of our logical understanding. There's personal astrology, which is also uses human design and gene keys, all these different modalities and systems that we can use. But then collective astrology represents these different periods of time that always repeat in a cyclical nature. So it's data. We can utilize this data to review what happened in the past, see how multiple cycles overlapped, so we can use that for going forward. And financial astrology then tracks astrological patterns and cycles to assess and predict social, political, and fiscal events. Just a little more of fine tuning on the financial element. Okay, so I like to start things off with 2020, right? It was in 2018. I had told some family members, I said, whoa, something crazy is going to happen in 2020 because we had Saturn, Pluto, and South Node conjunction with a lunar eclipse all happening in Capricorn. So every planet represents a different energy, and then every sign represents a different energy and through a different archetype. So when you kind of put the different ingredients together, you can create this type of story, this storyline that then you can use for these patterns. So when we recognize some of the archetypes of the planets, Pluto always represents transformation, power, revealings. Saturn represents time, karma, restriction, limitations, but ultimately mastery. When you have those coming into a conjunction, is these two malefics though coming together, and it hadn't happened in the sign of Capricorn since 1284. And like I said here in the notes, this is when Venice introduced a gold coin that became the standard of European currency for the following 600 years. And it's whenever they come into like a new conjunction, it begins this new cycle pertaining to power. But having that happen in Capricorn was a big deal because Capricorn represents authoritative government, it's big business, it's kind of, so it's like big business, revealings, restriction in the sign of Capricorn. So it was just this really kind of this almost like this kind of bomb that was released. So many astrologers were assessing, looking, being like, oh, something really interesting is going to happen in 2020. And then we combine that happened with the South Node, with a lunar eclipse. So that represented more of this just like disruption and this erratic energy. And just to make it interesting, I want to point out that it was then on March 17th, if people remember what happened on March 17th, that was when everything, at least in the United States, like shut down. That was when Jupiter crossed over that exact placement where where Saturn and Pluto had their conjunction. So it just shows us this, wow, there really is the storyline that is playing out. So that's about that particular thing. But it's funny, somebody before was already mentioning Uranus, right? In reference to something else. But Uranus is the planet that is kind of this trickster energy. And I want to briefly talk about Uranus because Uranus is a really key player with everything going on, and especially pertaining to financial astrology. So Uranus represents awakening, disruption, it's revolution. It's this energy of revolutionary change. It's been in the sign of Taurus since 2019 until 2025, and that is, Taurus represents securities. It's the earth. So it is all of the things that help us feel grounded. So in terms of what it represents in our physical reality, it represents finances, healthcare, agriculture, just all of the things that make it comfortable in this human experience. So during that whole time, we have had the planet of disruption in the planet, in the sign that's all about security. So I had already been involved in Bitcoin, but when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, so this represents that there's going to be a massive disruption to the entire financial landscape. And that has most certainly tracked. But then when we get to during 2021, we had Saturn and Uranus were forming a square, several squares. And that represents conflict between old and new. So if you think in 2020, we had this kind of this like bomb of this really unusual energy that was seeming sort of shadowy, was a word that many people are using, and I myself was, because it was kind of this, we can't put our finger on it, but there's just something, a new cycle that is being formed. But then during this particular time in 2021, it was this a lot of conflict. And when we look back at what was happening, in our physical reality at that time, there obviously was a lot of conflict. But then bringing it into last year, on the lunar eclipse that we had on November 8th, I'll show you the chart right here. This is when we have the sun and the moon opposite each other. That's a full moon. But when we have one very close to the lunar nodes, that is what makes it an eclipse. And this right here is Uranus, and this is the moon. So it was a full moon. We had a full moon exactly conjunct Uranus. And I had predicted, wow, something really crazy is going to happen with finances. So all that I knew was that. All that I knew was that. I didn't know what was going to happen. So when I saw all of that stuff play out, it was like, you've got to be kidding me. It was so exact and so on the nose that it still is mind-boggling to me, where then I'll talk with people about it and they'll be like, do you think that the people in charge of this stuff know, and they're using these the same way? And I don't know. I do not know. But that was incredible how exact that was. And that really set the stage for, okay, what is happening now with this changing financial landscape? There's this whole new paradigm that is coming in. And that was really this PowerPoint of, oh, there is a giant battle taking place. So we're talking then about, Uranus is going to finish up. It's going to finish up in Taurus, but it's going to move into the sign of Gemini. So if anybody here is a Gemini, understand that during this period, this is where your life is going to experience some radical shifts. It doesn't have to be anything bad. It's just about using the energy. So as above, so below, as within, so without. But having your Uranus representing disruption, revolution, Gemini represents communication, technology. It's also the mind, and it represents local community as well. So during this particular period of time, we can start kind of maybe predicting some areas where we can expect to see some kind of disruption. And it's nice to go back to look forward. So we look to the last couple times when Uranus was in Gemini, that was the Revolutionary War, and then it was the Civil War, the time after that, and then this very last time was World War II. That's Uranus, right? It's kind of a lot of disruption, a lot of revolution, but ultimately it's here to liberate, even if it's not always in a peaceful type of way. So now let's talk about Pluto, because we talked about Pluto at the very beginning with the Pluto-Saturn conjunction. So Pluto is all about revealings, all about transformation. It is that energy of that bomb. Even when you recognize when Pluto was discovered, it was during the time of the atomic bomb. It was during the time of the subconscious work. So it is this below, this what we cannot see, but something is there. So Pluto has been in Capricorn, which represents authority, big business, government, 2008 until 2024. But when Pluto first entered Capricorn in 2008, that was when we had what at the time was the largest bank failure in US history. Up until was that just like a few months ago, right? When Pluto was at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So it's like it was bookended. It was bookended with bank failure. And it's just a very peculiar, it's very unusual, but you have to see that there is absolutely something to this. And but 2 years ago, I was asking some people who I thought would have some kind of an answer that would help me. I was like, so what are we going to do when the banks fail? They're like, it's not going to fail. I was like, really? You don't? Okay. So that's when I recognized I need to make sure I have people my crew that I can ask these types of questions to. And that brings us back to why I'm so honored to be here today. Speaking with people who are open to having an eye on where things are going. So something else, though, really relevant with Pluto during this time was we had the United States' birth chart. They have United States has its Pluto. So at the point of inception, when a person was created, a business is created, a country is created, there's a chart. This is energetic encoding. The United States' chart has Pluto in the second house. Second house represents values, finances. When a planet returns to its original placement, it's a return. It's like a whole new cycle for that energy. Pluto has a 248-year cycle. So the United States has never had a Pluto return before. Well, it did now. So now it is. And this represents, right, a sort of a subconscious death and rebirth, a transformation, a subconscious revealing. So when we look to what has been happening with the United States and with the US dollar, we can see, oh, there is absolutely something to this, right? Sort of this, maybe some kind of a death in some types, right? It's really declining quite rapidly. And it's also interesting that happened on 2022. They were declined it Tuesday. Okay, so boy, are people in the comments, are people still, did I lose a bunch of people? Hopefully people are still vibing on this. Okay, so
we're here, we got you.
Okay, I can't see any comments. All that I see is my my presentation here. So like I was saying, Pluto has been in Capricorn. It briefly dipped. The way the planets, they all have their own cycle. So when the planets will overlap different cycles, but Pluto has a 248-year cycle. So it was in Capricorn for last 20 years. For a few months, it went into Aquarius, so we got a taste of it, but now it's back in Capricorn. But next year, it's going to be fully in Aquarius. So a whole new energy for 20 years. Pluto revealings in Aquarius, the Aquarius archetype is power to the people, but it is also another energy of revolution because Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So it's this energy of revolution, but power and revolution and energy associated with the tribe. So this is where we are recognizing that there is an incredible amount of shifts that are occurring for the people, but for the power to the people. So one of the things that has kept me really inspired with this whole new financial paradigm is the way that it is disrupting everything that has been the way that has been for so long, that has not allowed for everybody to prosper. So the power to the people is an area where we have seen some of the things in terms of Bitcoin coming into help support nations that their leaders are not actually supporting the people. We saw that with Venezuela, we've seen that with many places. And Bitcoin and decentralization was allowing for more of this freedom and this liberation for people to come in. But when we look to what happened when the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, well, that was all those revolutions, the American Revolution, the French Revolution, so the Industrial Revolution. So we can expect that, piecing all of this together, that there is some massive revolutions brewing for all of us. And if we want to even go as, we can hone in on any of those, but even like the Industrial Revolution, I have been viewing that as being the entire new revolution with AI, right? The entire way in which we are going to be associating with each other, the way in which we are going to be working, the way in which we're going to be doing everything. It's this whole new paradigm in that regard as well, but then as well in terms of finances. But it's just really, is this bringing anything up for you, Ben?
No, totally.
Okay.
No,
I need some feedback, I think.
No, I'm watching because
Okay.
like I use AI. I've been using it since probably December of last year, which is when probably a lot of people got in. And I mean, I use it daily, and some people are horrified by it, and I'm embracing it. You know what I mean? As long as they're just not, putting a chip inside my brain, I'm good, right? But there, when you really understand the revolution of AI, it is man, you can't afford to not understand it. I mean, I've helped it actually calculate algorithms for me that would have taken me days, if not weeks, and it does it for me in seconds. So like my productivity, my brain power is growing, by the day from this AI revolution. And so that, and and the cool thing is it's not just AI revolution, but it's also a crypto revolution. And so I think we've just got some really, really cool stuff up and coming, but keep going.
Yeah, this is the whole entire new, but even like during this particular industrial revolution, right, there were lots of people that were fearful of it. We tend to fear what is coming in that is new. And I'm always encouraging people, right? The way to not fear something is to understand it, but then also like get a relationship with it so that you can understand it and that you can feel like you are utilizing it versus feeling like you're going to be steamrolled by it. But you can see there definitely is I think anybody can probably feel this, that there is this massive change that is brewing. And in terms of all of this, though, it is really about finding your personal empowerment, to know who you are, to know what it is you need to do, to know that you are going to like be able to take care of whatever it is you need to take care of, and be able to be great and be able to utilize everything. That is what I think is really going to set everybody up for success by learning from the past going forward. So this is something interesting that we're having coming up. So Uranus and Pluto. Uranus has an 84-year orbit. Pluto has a 248-year orbit. They form what is called a trine. It's like a favorable transit. They form it every 105 years, then 37 years, 74 years, and then 37 years again. So it's this very peculiar dance that these two do. But it tends to always be associated with radical social, economic, and political change. And the two planets started a new cycle in 1966. And the last time that they formed a trine, though, was 105 years ago. So that was during 1921. It's a lot of text here. I just want to say 1921 to 22, that was when this is ushering in change. That may seem radical. This is when we had some shifts to government, and right, we had Hitler and Mussolini, Stalin came to power. It was definitely a very, very intense energy that also coincided though with some squares that we're gonna be having. But then in the time before that, we had a lot of rivalry. There was meetings with Great Britain and France and negotiating territory with Africa. So it's recognizing that when this comes up, it's this radical shifts dealing with society, disruption, power, change, but in a way that kind of just happens. It just happens. And then we see what is coming up now, right? It's BRICS. So we see that once again, it's like this stuff it just reveals to us these storylines that are playing out, and us to do what we need to do to make sure that it's all going to work for us. But that is something that I think it's fascinating to see that once again, there's this coming up, a massive shift in global power. And the last little thing here is another new cycle starting in 2027 is, for people who are familiar with human design, this is a big discussion. It is this shift in global consciousness. It is considered when we are shifting from a very tribal hierarchical to a society that is much more individual. So when I am tying all of these dots together with my individual clients and even with the companies that I help, I'm helping them figure out ways that they can themselves and then help their clients become more self-sufficient, become more of a role model, their leader over their own life. So this is where topics like being your own bank, how can you be more self-sufficient? What are the things in the areas in your life where you feel like, maybe I should see if I can do that myself? Is going to be a big something that I think everybody should be looking more into. And this is why I was so excited to also come in and talk to people, hear about this, because the idea of being your own bank is something that is still very foreign to many people. But obviously, I think the people who are the members here Gven talk about that a lot. But I think that's a perfect tie-in for letting Gven now join in and take over, or at least discuss with me about this, because it shows us, right, there are these massive cycles and shifts that are taking place right now. And although we do not know the exact moves that are going to take place, we can see it is this energy driving us to our own individuality, driving us into being more self-sufficient, into being a role model in our own lives, and taking ownership over as much of our lives as I think we can. And obviously finances are a huge one.
Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate. I was like talking to myself in here. I'm
There
trying.
was a
I'm
lot.
trying
There was
to.
a lot of data. So I'd love to. Anything popped up for you that we can discuss?
No, no. I was actually trying to. I was trying to find that saying that like goes, and anybody in the crowd, if you can chime in, it's like things like happen really slowly and then suddenly. What's
Yep.
that saying? It's like I'm trying to. I can't. I can't remember it.
Well, it's something.
No,
Yeah.
it's like something like
And
it
then all at once.
uses the word suddenly. It's not I mean, it's categorized as quantum leap, and I've been asking for the last like 2 or 3 minutes. I've been asking Chat GPT, but it can't get any. It can't get a.
See,
Uh,
that's showing us where AI still has some limitations, right?
yep.
I was asking it about a quote earlier, and it couldn't find the quote, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So like no, it's not critical. It literally is like slowly waiting and suddenly, and I can't. It's like literally like that. That's like the concept behind it, but I can't remember. Oh well, anyways, it is what it is. So let me do you mind if I take over the presentation here?
Go for it.
let let's get to some stuff here in regards to our in regards to how we can kind of like see those things happening right now. Can y'all? Oh, my screen is loading.
Oh, here, I will do stop share.
All right. Okay. Can y'all see now? Let me make this bigger. So, based off of what Ashley's talking about, there's big shifts going on. And, from my vantage point, I'm always looking at like, okay, what are the trends in crypto and how can we use that to our advantage? Because while I have been very successful in my crypto career and especially this last bull run, um, I could have done better. Okay. And as an investor, you're always looking for the different ways that you can do better and improve on your strategies. And finding the trends, finding the algorithm to really go forward. And so, a question that I'm getting asked a lot, especially recently, is the crypto market about to explode? And that's why I wanted to find that quote, because the crypto market is a real funny thing, right? It's like you'll wait and you'll wait and you'll wait, and then all of a sudden it explodes, and it is a wild ride to the upside, wild, and it will play with your emotions. You'll get greedy. I've been through, two full, full bear and bull cycles, and I've been through some of the craziest retracements that, you know, any investor has seen in their entire life in regards to being an investor. And so every time though, I get smarter and smarter, and that gives me the ability to teach my students how to avoid the perils of the crypto community. But just a little bit about myself, because some of you don't even know who I am. So I'm actually an ex-financial advisor. I used to work for a company called AXA Equitable, which was, I think, the second largest financial advising company in the world behind MetLife at the time. I'm the ex-founder of the largest cycling personal injury law firm in the USA. I used to be a pretty avid cyclist and worked in the law for about 18 years and was really good at that. I started investing in crypto in mid 2017 and started the most successful crypto DeFi educational school in the world. We have like over 1,000 students to date. I'm a stage 2 colon cancer survivor, and I maintained what I call the 3 freedoms over the last 3 years. And that's financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. And, you know, these I hold really, really true. The last 4 weeks, though, I haven't had too much time freedom, but I usually ebb and flow out of that one because, you know, sometimes in crypto there's a time to work and build, and we're kind of there right now in our company. But these are definitely freedoms that I hold very, very near and dear, and you know, I've been able to accomplish these, especially over the last 3 years. I've lived in 6 different countries in the last 3 years, and probably like inside of those countries, 20 different locations. So I love traveling. I love seeing the world. And there's just been so many things that I've learned by being out of the United States. I'm originally from California. And here's just kind of a few pictures of me and my family. We've been in Costa Rica, Panama, the country of Georgia, Russia, which is where my wife is from. That's where I met her. And in 2020, that's where we met. And just so happens that was the year that, you know, I literally lost everything. I mean, I'd just been raked over the coals with debt and lawyer fees because of my divorce. And the only thing that I had left was like $50,000 worth of crypto. I went from like a millionaire to down to $50,000. And all of a sudden, the crash happens in March of 2020, what we call the Black Swan event. And my portfolio went from 50,000 to within 2 or 3 days down to 15,000. And when that happened, I was actually working with like a Russian shaman in Russia on healing myself because I didn't go through chemotherapy for my colon cancer. And I was like, man, do I stay here in Russia and like, you know, take the red pill and go into the unknown? Or do I just go back to my comfy, you know, law job that I had been doing for 18 years and I knew it inside and out, but was really bored with it and just sick of doing the same thing over and over every day? And I swallowed that big ass red pill and I stayed and, you know, busted out some of my crypto stuff that I had brought because I had kind of gotten out of crypto for about a year. I still monitored it, even though I was teaching it at the beginning of 2018 and all throughout 2018. But 2019, I just focused on my healing. And, you know, it led me to my wife. It led me to having like literally the best thing, my daughter. I love my daughter. And then again, having so many adventures throughout the world, and all while doing it, you know, basically investing in crypto and being my own bank, which we're going to talk about here. Now, before we get started, this is not financial advice. This is just what me and my students are doing. So like, do your own research, right? Like, we're highly trained in this stuff. I've been doing DeFi or decentralized finance since DeFi started in 2020. All right. This is a very, very new technology, but you can really get wrecked. So please be mindful of that. Like, I'm going to show you some things, and while I make them look easy, there is a learning curve to them. And Ashley's been a student actually now for what, month and a half now. Ashley, she's been learning all about DeFi. and all about kind of like what we teach, because mindset is also a big thing. We definitely teach mindset in our course, because last thing you want to do is get faked out or get too emotional or anything like that. And some of you know exactly what
It
I'm
takes a
talking
lot
about.
out of you, crypto does. I told you a little bit about it. Yeah, if you don't, it can be a lot.
Yeah. I mean, my whole beard is gray, even though I do have the three freedoms. My whole beard is almost all gray because of crypto. So it's and my hair's starting to look peppered, but I don't know. I like it. It gives me character, I think.
Yeah,
So
and
enough about
Raquel just said Bitcoin is a Capricorn. Sure is.
yeah,
Yep.
nice. Yes, that's right. Because it was born when was it born?
It
I
was
forget.
January 3rd.
January 3rd. That's right.
Yep. So it's
So
14.
nice, nice. So enough about me. Why do I think that the crypto market is about to go up? Well, here's just some headlines, right? We have BlackRock ETF. Whether you like BlackRock or not, they're not my favorite. They're not my favorite company in the world. But BlackRock is filing an ETF for Bitcoin. And for those of you who don't know the history of BlackRock filing ETFs, I think they filed for like 600 or 700. Don't quote me on the number, because it's been about a month and a half or two, and I have to data dump out of my brain so that it doesn't explode. But a substantial amount of ETFs they've filed for, and only one has been denied, maybe two. All right. But I mean, these guys know how to file for an ETF. If you take a look at what they did with gold, I mean, they literally, I think 5 or 6x gold with a gold ETF that they filed for, I believe, back in the early 2000s. So this is a big freaking deal, guys and gals. This is a big freaking deal. And we're starting to see on chain big companies start to really accumulate crypto. In fact, I don't have it in this slideshow, but just last week, there was an accumulation of Bitcoin so much. I think it was like 3 point some billion dollars that was accumulated by Robinhood over the last few weeks, which has made it the third largest wallet right now, compared to, I think, like Coinbase and MicroStrategy, which are the two biggest ones. So there's a lot of institutional money buying Bitcoin under the table, essentially. All right, under the table. And they can do that. They can, wire bank money and then just transfer it, and it doesn't look like it's a sale on any exchange. And that's where we get price action from. And so these guys are very, very smart, and they're moving into crypto. Citadel, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, they're launching their own crypto exchange called EDX Markets. And these, just between BlackRock, Citadel, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and JP Morgan Chase, I think we're looking at like $30 trillion. Okay, $30 trillion. BlackRock alone, okay, with their assets under management, is the third largest country in the world behind China and the United States. I think with these big boys coming on board, if you were to put all of them together into one country, let's say they were states, they would probably be the largest country. So think about that. All that money, not all of it, but a lot of it is going to be moving into crypto. And crypto, I'm going to show you tonight, isn't just about Bitcoin or just Ethereum. Everything is moving onto the blockchain, from stocks, bonds, real estate, all that stuff. In fact, we just launched our first real estate exchange where you can buy and sell real estate 24/7 and receive dividends straight to your wallet. And so there's a lot of companies rushing to do these things, using the blockchain and using crypto, which is gonna just be the largest transformation of wealth, in my opinion. Fidelity is also looking to create their own ETF, as well as making huge moves in the crypto market. JP Morgan Chase, this is an article that came out last year, wants to bring trillions of dollars of tokenized assets. So again, what I was talking about, stock market, bonds, real estate, T-bills, all these things are going to be on the blockchain. And if you don't believe me, I'll tell you right now, I've traded stocks on the blockchain 24/7. All right. I've traded gold and silver on the blockchain. I've leveraged traded gold and silver on the blockchain, not in some centralized exchange like Binance or Coinbase, on the blockchain, on decentralized exchanges. And I'm going to show you what that's all about here in a few minutes. Okay. So PayPal also is coming to the space, and they've created what's called a stable coin. So for some of you that don't know what a stable coin is, a stable coin is a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or like Ethereum, except it doesn't move up or down outside of the dollar. So it is backed or pegged by the dollar. And so PayPal has now created their own stable coin, which makes them the largest and the biggest company in the world to create their own stable coin. These guys have 450 million customers throughout the world. And so this is a huge deal. Now, there's some good things about it, and there's some bad things about it. So they're calling their stable coin P or Pi USD, PYUSD, and there's going to be transfers between PayPal and external digital wallets. So like I can already get this cryptocurrency and load it into my wallet. So these tokens will also be used for goods and services. So let's say, for instance, you may have like a PayPal machine at whatever, Starbucks, and instead of them paying the 2 or 3% that they pay to Visa or MasterCard, you'll be able to tap your phone and they're going to actually pay less. So maybe their cost of inventory will actually be less to you at the end of the day because they don't need to pay that extra 2 or 3% to the merchant. So that's really cool. But let's see here. So the trust and security with this Pi USD, it's issued by a company called Paxos Trust, which they actually have gold on the blockchain, and they're one of the top companies. It's fully backed by the United States dollar, and it's redeemable for dollars other than cryptocurrencies, unlike the banks that put all of their money into 10-year T-bills and not redeemable. And so that's why a lot of these banks have been collapsing this year, is because they've actually put their money and locked it up for 10 years. And when people went to withdraw their money, they're like, 90% of it is locked away for 10 years. We weren't expecting you guys to take your money out. And so, but they're taking their money out because instead of making 0.1%, like they were offering to clients and customers back in 2020 and 2021, they're now offering 5% because they're getting more on their T-bills, on their investments. Now, I want to get into the risks. The risks of PayPal's stablecoin. This to me is the biggest thing. Crypto is basically programmable money. And last year, I think early last year, PayPal, because people were putting up fake news or whatever, allegedly, all right, PayPal said, if we find out that you're one of the people putting up fake news, we're going to ding your account for a $2,500 penalty. Well, that's not good. And what that tells me is that if you have programmable money, okay, that's a tool for censorship. And that's why, like, a lot of my investments, they're not in stable coins, especially not centralized stable coins like this. And we'll talk about the difference between centralized and decentralized here in a few minutes. It's in decentralized stable coins. And there are those out there. So where no government can shut you down and I can hold value of my dollar. But right now, I'm more heavily accumulating Bitcoin and Ethereum because of a lot of the things that Ashley talked about and a lot of these things that we're starting to see. Again, we're starting to see the cycle, the pattern repeat itself, right? And so let's see here. Let's get into, so with all of these events occurring, this is the time to be learning the skills to compete with the largest banks and institutions of the world. All right. And we have the ability to do that. I've been doing it since 2020. All right. But before I show you how to become your own bank, or BYOB, it's not bring your own beer now, it's be your own bank. First, let's educate you on a few things so that you understand how me and over 1,000 of my students are making money. Now, here's the thing, okay, that you got to understand. I'm going to start off slow. Some of you have maybe even watched some of my videos before. Be patient. It only takes about 5 minutes. I'm going to start from the beginning, and then we're going to get into the advanced stuff here in a little bit. So let's first start off. What is a cryptocurrency? Because some of you may not even know what a cryptocurrency is. You're just like, wait, is a cryptocurrency a stock or a bond, or what is it? Is it cash? Can I spend it? Yes. All right. It's all of the above. So simply put, a cryptocurrency is a way to transfer value without the need for a bank, central bank, or institution using blockchain technology. So essentially, it's a network that's created that you and I are the only ones that control it, not the banks, not the central banks, not these huge things. Now, there are cryptocurrencies that are controlled by banks, but I don't mess with those ones. I'm really interested in, the individual, right? Like Ashley was talking about, we're starting to see things starting to become more decentralized, even throughout the world, right? Right now, where I live in Panama, they're talking about bringing chip manufacturing from Taiwan over to here. And they want it on this side of the world, not on that side of the world, where we have a really good relationship with this particular country. And so a lot of really good things are happening to where I believe, having a more decentralized world will create a fair, more balanced world. And that's what crypto does for me. Now, we have what are called soft wallets. And some of you have heard of what a soft wallet is. Like you've heard of what a MetaMask is, or maybe an Exodus wallet. But these are wallets that reside on your computer or on your phone. Okay. So these are wallets where you can control your crypto. All right. Now, this isn't like some people are like, oh, yeah, okay. But I have that with JP Morgan Chase. You don't. Your money resides at JP Morgan Chase. Your money resides at the bank. This money resides on the blockchain, and the only one who can control it is you. So there is a lot of responsibility that you have by making sure that you absolutely take care of your crypto. So what is the blockchain? The easiest way that I can explain the blockchain is, let's say, for instance, this is what we call a hard wallet. So it's an added additional layer of security that I definitely use. But basically, think of the blockchain like a safety deposit box. And the only one who can access 507 is your key, which your key is linked to your wallet. All right. And that is the only thing that can open it up. Nobody can hack these things. All right. Nobody can hack these things. Now, you can give away your keys accidentally to some scammer. Okay. But we teach how not to do that, how to take control, and how to have, maximum leverage and security. So what is decentralized finance? And we're going to get deep into this. I'm going to actually show you all the power of DeFi and what the potential of that you can make. So DeFi eliminates the fees that banks and other financial companies charge for using their services. Individuals hold money in secure digital wallets and can transfer funds in minutes, and anyone with an internet connection can use DeFi. DeFi allows the people to do peer-to-peer lending and trading without the need of greedy banks and institutions, meaning we make the fees that the banks do. Okay, so why is DeFi much better, and why will it change the world? Well, like I said earlier, everything from the stock market to real estate to commodities to art to music to gaming will be on the blockchain within the next 10 years. And again, coming back to this article by JP Morgan Chase, they're already planning on bringing trillions of dollars. And Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, he has been going on a tour on television talking about how he's going to be tokenizing. His company is going to be one of the forefront leaders in tokenizing assets because he sees how much more efficient it is. And it's one of those things that, like, once you dive in, you'll never go back. You will never, ever go back, and you cannot forget what you've learned, which is really cool. Goldman Sachs, even, like these huge institutions, they're like, regulators should protect cryptos at the point of trust, meaning at the point of onboarding or offboarding, not the blockchain. So even Goldman Sachs is saying, like, leave this alone. Don't regulate it. Don't touch it. This is really true capitalism at its finest, because doesn't get warped by the large companies. Now, here's an example of a company called Realty. This is just one. We actually have our own marketplace where we're selling tokenized real estate here in Panama. Really, really nice tokenized real estate for short-term rentals. And this is one of the things that we teach. All right. But you can see here that they have basically put this property on the blockchain and are now selling it at a fraction, right? And you just receive that token, all right? And your expected income per year, not including capital appreciation, so just in rent, is 9.8% per year, all right? We've got some ones that are comparable to that, if not a little bit higher. But also, you're able to borrow and lend against your tokens, all right? So this is a huge thing because what's happening is this is what we call a borrowing and lending protocol. And each one of these tokens, they're called, like, instead of being called Bitcoin or Ethereum, it's called Real Token S1 Holdings, Belvedere Street, Detroit, Michigan. And you're now able to deposit this. Basically, think of it as a decentralized bank where your neighbor and the guy in India and the gal in Argentina can now put their stable coins in here. Remember the cryptocurrencies that are backed 1-to-1 by the dollar. And you can borrow against your real estate like this. No credit checks, no nothing. You just need a wallet, cryptocurrency that is backed by real estate. And then you can take that money and spend it or go buy more real estate. So there is some really, really, really cool stuff coming up. And again, we've got something comparable to this. In my opinion, it's better, but I'll leave you up to the to tell me if you think that once you understand this stuff a little better. So this is why you don't want to miss out on learning this technology before everyone gets in. So today I'm going to show you how me and my students are making a ridiculous amount of money and what I call infinite crypto printing, okay? And we're going to really show you how this is going. So I'm also going to be showing you how everything is going on the blockchain and how you can profit from it starting today. So how do we print money? Super important. It's no different than the banks and the institutions do. So let me give you like what I call my NASDAQ example. Okay, my NASDAQ example. So a lot of people don't realize that when you buy Apple stock, you don't buy it from, Charles Schwab, or you don't buy it from Fidelity. You actually go, they're just the brokers, right? But you go through the NASDAQ, okay, to actually buy it. And the way it works is that every single time there is a trade from Apple to cash or cash into Apple, there's a trading fee charged by the NASDAQ, but the NASDAQ keeps all the fees. And they make billions and billions of dollars per year for providing what is called liquidity. And liquidity is what we use, okay, in order to make liquid markets. So like, I don't have to wait, like real estate, right? The traditional way of real estate is an illiquid market. It may take me 30, 45, 90, 6 months to sell my piece of real estate. Not anymore with our marketplace, our digital marketplace, you can sell it like that. But the thing that makes stock markets and crypto markets so great is they're liquid. So like if you need to get out because you're in a cash crunch, or you just want to sell it because you think the market's going to go down, or you want to take profit, you can instantly. You don't have to wait for escrow. You don't have to wait for an appraisal. But every time there's a trade made, you're going to pay, on the NASDAQ, on average, between $10 and $150 plus. Okay. So the NASDAQ, though, is what we call a centralized exchange, where you give your custody of money, stocks, and power away. All right. And so they have all the power. They're the ones who make all the money. Now, what is a decentralized exchange? Well, a decentralized exchange is where me or Ashley or Matt are able to provide liquidity now, but instead of the NASDAQ making money, or Coinbase making money, or Binance or the New York Stock Exchange making all those fees, you and I are making those fees. And that's the power of becoming your own bank. And so here's some examples of some what we call liquidity pools. All right. And so just like the Apple pear, you always have a pair, right? You know, in this situation, we have what's called a cryptocurrency called Gala, which is a gaming cryptocurrency. And then we have Ethereum. And when people trade between Gala and Ethereum, in this situation, I'm making 110% per year. All right. I'm making 110% per year. Now, it's not stable, it's not guaranteed. So you have to understand how this plays, right? It can go down, but it can also go up. Just on this pair alone, I've seen my APY, or annual percentage yield, as high as like 1,600%. Now, some people are like rolling their eyes like, bullshit. There's no way you can make that sort of fucking money. And I'm here to tell you, no, not bullshit. I've made it. And I turned that $15,000 that I told you guys that it went down to in 2020. I also dollar cost average, meaning I brought more money in periodic payments of about $120,000 over a span of about a year and a half. And I turned that into over $2 million doing exactly this. And why? Because I learned how to become my own bank. I learned how to become the institution. This is no Ponzi scheme. This doesn't require, all the money in the world to get into this. You can learn all this stuff on your own if you wanted to. All right. And this is not a company. It's fully decentralized. Here's another one. This is called Materium. It's a gaming cryptocurrency, another gaming cryptocurrency. And I was earning 116% at the time that I did this. And it was really cool because I was making some really nice passive income. But right now, I will say this. I'm not in passive income mode. I'm in generational wealth mode. So every single dime is going back into my investments right now that I make. I am not taking profits right now. Okay. Now, when I say I'm not taking profits, like I may take profits on a crypto that I made 100% on, like we did last week, into Bitcoin or into Ethereum. But then I'm putting that Bitcoin and Ethereum to work, which I'm not going to talk about tonight. But maybe I'll do another webinar on that here in the near future. But this is how I have become my own bank. And I've been doing this for 3 years now, actually over 3 years. So what is infinite crypto banking? It's the ability to print money like the banks and the institutions do. This is another liquidity pool that I've made tens of thousands of dollars with this cryptocurrency. Actually, I would say hundreds of thousands of dollars at the peak with this FXS coin, because I got in very, very early. I turned $2,800 into probably $300,000. All right, at the peak, and I took a lot of profit on that. I'm not going to talk how I did that today, but I will if you join our course. I'll share that in more detail. But I did put up a liquidity pool for this, a simple $20,000. Okay. And literally within 2 days, this was how much I made. All right. And I think the APY at the time that I did this was about 500%. So this thing was growing at a very, very quick rate. Now, that doesn't mean I made 500% in one day. You have to amortize that over the year, but we teach you how to do that. Okay. But this is definitely one of my favorite cryptos, and one of the cryptos that and liquidity pools that I'm very, very bullish on, meaning I believe it's going to go up. So how do you truly build wealth in crypto? 1, you become as decentralized as possible. 2, you educate yourself with me or another company, or if you want to do it the old fashioned way, YouTube University, you can definitely do that. But that's like being dropped in the middle of the ocean and somebody telling you to learn how to swim. 3, have a plan in place to hit your goals. Like I have a spreadsheet that I keep details of where my investments are, what the risk is, how much I'm the current payout is, how much did I make that month. These are things that I'm definitely monitoring. And we're working on our end to actually create a place where you can plug all this in, and not some spreadsheet, but you have a portal that you can do that. We have our portal, but it's more for learning right now as opposed to tracking, but we're working on that. And within the next 60 days, we'll have that out. Now, 4, learn how to do your own research and become your own crypto financial non-licensed advisor. All right. Super important that we put non-licensed, but I'll tell you, I worked with a lot of financial advisors, guys and gals. All right. They're not the ones that are really managing your money. The ones that are managing your money are the fund managers. All right. Or the insurance managers. But a lot of these guys, they just want a commission. They put your thing in there and, oh, how risky do you want to be? And how much money do you have? And when do you want to retire? And then they put it into their little computer formula, and then boom, they're supposed to save you. In my opinion, all right, a lot of financial advisors, they want that sweet, juicy commission and residual commission every year as you pay your insurance premiums, as they get paid the fees for keeping your money there safe and sound, but growing very slowly. And with inflation going haywire over the last 3 years, a lot of these investments aren't even keeping up with inflation. And so how are you going to survive if you're not outperforming the market? So we want to teach you how to invest like a Wall Street rock star. So what is the way, again, that you can truly build wealth in crypto? It's good old-fashioned time and education. And this is not for you if you're here to get rich quick. And I'm going to get to the juicy stuff here in a second. So hang with me. So let's go live. And I'm going to show you, I did this video. All right. And the video is just basically spot on. I didn't cut any of it. So I wanted to show you how simple it was. And it's about 6 minutes. So bear with me. All right. But I'm going to show you how easy it is once you figure out how to do it, how easy it is to set this stuff up and, essentially monitor it 30 minutes per week. All right. So let's go. All right. So, oh, wait, hold on. You guys can't see it. Oh, can you see this? It's a video, but hold on. Let me stop sharing this and then let me reshare again. And by the way, I'll answer questions at the end. So if you go to the Q&A, because if not, it'll get lost in the webinar chat. If you go to the Q&A, you can leave questions there and I'll answer them at the end. All right. So hold on. I need to share my sound. Oh, man. Oh, wait, here. All right, let me see if y'all can see this. Oh my gosh, what's going on here? Hold on, let me see here. All right, so, oh, here we go. What happened? No. Oh my gosh. All right, hold on. I have it in another spot. 1 second. I just have to make it bigger overall. All right. Let me move it over to this. I don't know why it didn't record over here, but okay. Can y'all see this? Oh, what's there? Let's see if we can bring this all the way back to the beginning. No. Oh, shoot. What have I done? Okay. Let's go ahead and play this. All right. So now, can you guys hear some of the juicy part? I'm going to show you a little bit more juiciness. So don't go anywhere. Ashley, okay? Can you hear? Here's how we set up a.
I hear. I don't see it, okay, though.
So I'm going to set up an Optimism and Ethereum liquidity pool. Okay, hold on. A layer 2. It's very fast. I think I have a feeling I know what is going on here. Okay, let's see. Basic. Okay, now let's do this. There we go. All right. Can you see that?
It's like a blockchain, just like Ethereum,
All right, cool.
just like Bitcoin. And it does have a very nice use case that I think is going to probably just grow in terms of its use case. So the reason I chose this is because I was able to find a an APR here that was really juicy based off of some parameters. So this is Revert. It's a tool that I use to come and find some really, really good ways to set up these pools. But you can see here that I'm earning 193.98% in Optimism and in Ethereum. Okay, now the USD value may get skewed based off of how much Ethereum is worth or how much Optimism is worth. But you can see here, this position has been set up for 355.9 days. So I try to look for the ones that have been around for the longest. So for me to be making 193% in fees, okay, and again, those fees fluctuate based off of the value of what the cryptocurrencies were, then we need to make sure that that we got it set up right. So here what I do, because this is something called consolidated liquidity, okay, I need to know what range I need to set up this liquidity pool in. So this is what we call a range, and I'm not going to go too deep into this because I don't want to confuse you, but these are skills that we teach. I'm going to set my range limit from 1003 to the upper range of 1347. I use another tool called uniswap.fish, and this is very simple. Once you get it going, it's very, very easy to do. So you can see here clearly that I have an amount to deposit of $2,090 that I'm going to be putting in, and I have to split my cryptocurrencies exactly in this in order for me to set up this range. So now what I do is I come over to here to Uniswap, and I already have the tokens split up, so you'll have to split them up. That's a step that I just wanted to cover so we can save some time here. And then the fee tier that I'm going to be setting up here is 0.3%. So now what I'm going to come here and do is I needed, let's see here, I needed 459 OP. So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, whoops. Sorry. Let's do another take. So now what I need to do is I need to set up the range exactly like I have it here. So 1003 is what I need to put here, and my min price or my minimum price, and I'll go ahead and hit tab. And then my next one is 1347. So I'll come here and I'll simply plug in this number, 1347. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to put 459, and this should automatically adjust to exactly what I needed to put over on the from uniswap.fish. So now I need to approve what are called smart contracts, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hit approve, and this is a smart contract. This is a smart contract to approve what I have going on here to set up this liquidity pool. So I'm going to go ahead and hit approve, and I've got my hard wallet here in the camera. You can see it. I have to physically sign this, okay? So you want to make sure that you always have, this is part of that security, right? You always have a hard wallet that you're working with that you trust, okay? And you have your keys stored in a secure location. So now it's going to get approved here, and any second we should see here preview. And once we hit preview and sign another smart contract, the money will then be deposited into the liquidity pool, and now we'll be sharing fees with all of the other liquidity pool providers. So you can see here preview. Let's go ahead and hit add. And I'm going to sign another smart contract. And again, it pops up here. The smart contract needs to be physically signed as well. You don't want some hacker to get into your contract. And we'll go ahead and hit close. And bada bing, bada boom, I now have this contract earning me fees. Now the fees will start to pop up here in a few minutes, which will be really cool. So it's second by second, no Ponzi scheme, no multi-level marketing, none of that junk. All right. This is a cash flowing business, just as if you were a plumber or an artist or a tech guy or gal, whatever. Okay, this is a cash flowing business. And again, here you see it's now 0, but look at this. I just earned a fraction of a penny in optimism already. Okay, this thing's already starting to generate money, and this is how I've made money here for so long. Now let's do something else. Let's take this a step further. Okay, I have some pools here, and I have this pool, this SNX pool, and I have $75 worth of fees that are unclaimed. Okay, so now what I can do is this. I can actually hit collect fees, and what am I going to do with these fees? Well, whatever the hell I want with them, of course. All right. I can spend it. I can invest more. I can hold on to these cryptos if I feel like there's value. But what I can do too, and you might be asking, like, well, how do I spend it? Well, here in front of the camera, I have a crypto.com card. So I can literally just transfer money directly into my crypto.com card and start spending it like that. And I can earn all sorts of rewards. And this isn't just the only card that you have that you can earn money on or that you can spend your crypto on.
All right. So that I just wanted to give you guys and gals an example of how fast and how easy it is. Now you have to understand what you're going to invest in, right? And that's what we talk about. I mean, we've got, classes that are, shoot, I think 5-6 days out of the week, we have classes. Now, let me start with this, all right? Because we're going to talk about a few things, and I still have one more very juicy part. We're almost to the end here. By the way, if you're interested in actually booking a call with us to learn more, to see if, hey, maybe you're a good fit, Matt's going to drop the link in the chat right now. You guys can start booking. And last time we had a webinar, we got booked out till like 2 or 3 weeks. So definitely book it if you're interested. You're ready to like kind of start learning this stuff. I would highly recommend it. But we got more. I have like the juiciest part here coming up in just a couple of minutes. And trust me, I want to go to bed right now. I'm super tired. I've been going for 4 weeks hard. So I'm going to try to get to the part here. But I want to make this abundantly clear. Results vary based on students' investment amount and risk tolerance. All right. Like you all got to be like, you can't be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to make millions of dollars. And I'm going to like, this takes time. Remember what I said, this isn't get rich quick. This is get rich medium with a plan, not with a scheme. All right. By educating yourself. So let's see here. This is one student of mine. She got had her money in a centralized exchange called Voyager last year. And what ended up happening was I got her off of Voyager like literally 2 weeks before they closed down. She had $1.5 million that she didn't like just invest all of a sudden one day. She like earned that money. I think she said she put in like $60,000 or $70,000 and it grew to that 1.5. So I was able to get that money out for her like that. She's like, well, where do I start? She's like, these guys are paying me 5% per year on my Cardano, I think is what she had. And I said, like, wait, did you say 5% per year or 5% per month? And she was like, no, 5% per year. And I'm like, oh my gosh, get it off of there. And lo and behold, they closed just like that. And now she's making enough money to where she's literally paying for her mother and supporting her lifestyle. Her mother's in a nursing home. She's paying for that plus her very, very nice lifestyle. So this is just one of our students. Here's some more students. I'm going to kind of skip this part, skip over it quickly, but this is Sean L. He's making 194%. This is another student of ours, Ryan Stober. He actually works with us now, but he started with us early this year. He does like our editing and stuff. In fact, that's what the video that I was making was for him. That last video that I did. But he was already in crypto and he knew that he needed to take his stuff to the next level. And we were really able to help him out with that. And then here's another student of ours called Ryan L. And, you know, he was making 273%. We helped him get in, and just in a few days, 26 days, he was already up 18% on one of his liquidity pools. So this is really what we do. But again, guys, gals, results do vary. All right. So don't sit here and go, but you said 237%. Take ownership of what you're doing. All right. Take ownership for sure. Now, here's where it gets really, really juicy. So the potential between holding your crypto and being your own bank, which 99.9% of the people hold their crypto. All right. I'm telling you, we have a very specific skill that we teach here, a very profitable one. And if you understand it, you're going to crush it. But let's say you hold your crypto. Today's price of Ethereum is 1,650-ish. All right. Let's say it goes up to $4,000, which is what it went up to last time. I think it went up a little bit higher. But let's say it just goes up to $4,000. So we don't even go to all-time highs. It doesn't go to 10,000. I'm not being unreasonable here. Just goes back to where it was. I think it's going to go up to like 10, 15, 20,000 this next bull run. But this is an increase of 142% from today. Now, if you buy one ETH, you only ever have one ETH. So if you buy one ETH today, it's worth 1650. All right. If you buy it, and if it goes up, you only have $4,000. All right. That's it, which is still a great return. All right. Now, here's the difference. Let's say we put it into a liquidity pool, and this liquidity pool is earning 200% per year. Now, this is I did this actual investment right in front of your face, the ETH optimism. Let's say it's doing, again, 200%, but also the price of optimism, I think, is going to go up by way more than that. Thousands of percent. Don't believe me? Go look at crypto charts from the past. All right. It's definitely doable. I've done it time and time over again. Now, let's say I bought $2,000 worth of ETH. All right. Just like I showed you, I put in $2,090 or something, but I like round numbers. Make it easy. All right. 2,000, which today would afford me 1.2 Ethereum. All right. Now stick with me, because here's where it gets good. And this is how I became a millionaire. All right. Or a trillionaire, or critch, whatever you want to call it. All right. So let's say it goes up by 142%. The price of ETH goes up to $4,000. So now each one of my Ethereums would be $4,000. Sorry. But instead of 1.2 ETH, okay, because I compounded my interest, I turned that 1.2 ETH based off of a 200% yearly return, okay, in earning more fees, no Ponzi scheme, no nothing, doing it exactly the same way that the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange does, Binance, Coinbase, all these guys do it. I end up with 308 Ethereum, 308.51 to be exact. Well, what does that turn into? Well, if we have 308.51 times 4,000, that's $1.234 million. No lie. Now, things go up, things go down. I've gotten much smarter than the last one. I had to learn the hard way. Boy, did I have to learn the hard way, guys and gals. But this time around, when the market starts to turn around and go up, am I loaded with information? All right. Am I loaded? And I'm not here to make a couple $1 million. I already did that shit. I'm here to make tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars this bull market around. And it can happen. People have done it. All right. Don't think that people haven't done it. And especially people who are educated and understand what's called market making, because that's what we're doing. So again, this isn't financial advice. This is just what me and my students are doing. So do your own research. Okay. This is where it gets real juicy. All right. You've learned the 3 things that Art teaches in order to ensure success of building your wealth. 1, you've learned everything is headed to crypto, DeFi, from stocks to commodities to real estate. You've learned it's totally possible to become your own bank and make bank money. You've learned that you need to educate yourself on how to properly set yourself up in crypto and DeFi in order to succeed. So what are your options to learn true infinite crypto banking with us? Well, let's chat. All right, let's chat. Click on the link that Matt's put in there. I'm going to give you some pricing parameters, but we teach you security. We teach you how to move within the crypto sphere. We teach you what cryptos we're buying. We give you the tools that we use in order to do your best to track all of this crypto. But when you set up an appointment, the reason we do that to talk to you is we want to make sure we're a good fit. No pressure. If somebody pressures you, you got to let me know, because we are trained to not pressure anybody into anything that they don't want to do. All right. I don't want to end up giving somebody their money back, because we do have a money back guarantee. But I want to make sure if you come here, like, you're going to stick with it, because that's how our students come out here successful. Now, we have various different courses. Our lowest course starts at $480 per year, all the way up to $15,000 and $97 per month thereafter. All right. That's our hands-on. This is for like kind of the entrepreneur that doesn't have time to sit through a course, that doesn't have time to do research. They just want, hey, help me get this going. Give me all your alpha. And, you know, we get you going from A to Z. So we have something for everybody. All right. For everybody. And our classes, again, we have like 6 classes. We have 6 workshops, all throughout the week. It's really, really hands-on. And again, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you feel we're not a good fit, we will give you your money back. No questions asked. And believe me when I tell you this, I've done it multiple times. All right. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like nobody's ever asked for their money back. That's bullshit. And if somebody ever tells you that, I mean, even Apple gets returns all the time, right? Or Microsoft. I've returned 2 Microsoft computers because they suck. Excuse me, I'm a Mac type of person. So anyways, but yeah, we do have this. So it's like no risk. It's no risk, but you can reserve your appointment with one of our onboarding specialists. And we don't call them salespeople, because they're not salespeople. The people that you talk to are literally coach level onboarding specialists, so that they can get you into the system as effectively as possible and as easy as possible, because crypto is already hard enough as it is. So I like when I designed all this stuff, because I am the CEO, I wanted to make it simple. And I have guys, gals, I have students that are 75 years old with me that have learned DeFi and are making passive income, making that generational wealth. You know, most likely they're not going to be here for another 50 years, but maybe another 20 or 30. So they want to leave something behind, and they want to make sure that they're taken care of. This is what we're teaching them. And I'm not telling you to put all your money in this. All right. Don't do that either. All right. Start slow. You don't want to FOMO. You want to slow-mo. So that's all I got. Let me jump here into the Q&A. I appreciate you all sticking with us. But let's see here. Let's see what we got here. Melinda Conroy writes, I'm on disability. I have a regular bank account and no funds, but I'm in the process of setting up an online business. What can I do to protect what I initiate? I mean, what I would do, and this is what our company actually pays all of our team members. We don't have employees, we have team members. And all of our team members actually get paid in crypto. So like we literally practice what we preach. So a lot of our money, because there are some bills that we have to pay out of a regular bank account, but a lot of our bills get paid through crypto. We have a lot of vendors that are also crypto. So there are things that you can do to get that started. So one, I would definitely educate yourself first, Melinda. Don't go out there trying to set up your own bank without knowing what to do. But I would definitely have a process where I have my money or capital in my own bank, and then I have a way to transfer it back if I do need to get it back, because who knows what's going to go on with these banks. And like Ashley was talking about earlier, geez, I don't know. The banks are in a heap of trouble. So if we go to an asset-backed cryptocurrency on DeFi exchange, wouldn't it be better to invest in silver or gold? So a little history lesson, back in the 16 or 1700s, there was some guys in Italy called the Medici, and the Medici basically, in my opinion, kind of really brought notes, which is what we use in the forms of cash nowadays. and what they did was their notes were actually worth more than the gold that they were storing. So they would store the gold and then they would give you like a contract that said, hey, yeah, Ashley or Cynthia has their gold here. And that's where we got like paper trading, right? But Cynthia, let me ask you this. When was the last time you saw somebody transporting their gold, from one country to another? It's almost impossible. And in my opinion, gold has a very poor use case. It actually has some medicinal use cases that I think are really valuable, but we're not using it for that. And there's more than enough to go around for that. But gold has a very, very poor use case. Silver, probably a better one. But still, you're going to transfer millions of dollars of silver or gold, because you got to jam out of the country. No way. So what do? You want to be with somebody like Paxos that has the gold stored outside of the United States in trusted locations where you can verify that they actually do have that gold, not like JP Morgan Chase does and like creates way more paper than they do gold, or like the United States government did back in the early 70s. So let's see here. I answered that one live. Do all of the exchanges have a finite number of cryptos? Which cryptos have a cap on the number? I'm concerned that they will just increase the number by fiat, just like the Fed does with US dollars. Yeah, some of them do, Cynthia, and that's a great thing. So Cynthia basically asked, she's concerned that these cryptos will just like inflate away. Bitcoin cannot. Ethereum, it can be rewritten, but the way they've set up, they're a DAO, so that it would need to get voted into. And I don't think people are going to vote to have their crypto printed away. But right now, Ethereum is actually deflationary. So instead of having a net amount increasing into their network, there is a net negative amount. So if I had 100 million, how would I invest it? I would probably split it between Bitcoin and Ethereum, 50 million, and the other 50 million in tokenized real estate, to be quite honest with you. And I'm not lying about that. That's not financial advice. That's what I would do. All right. So you do you, I'll do me. So how do I take profits? What is taxable? So Lizzie, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Lizzie Dollar. That's a cool last name. So Lizzie Dollar, in my opinion, like I try to not sell my crypto. So what do? Remember those borrowing and lending protocols? Those borrowing and lending protocols at the beginning? All right. I actually use them to borrow against my crypto. And when I do that, I don't pay tax on borrowed money. Just like if you borrowed against your home, do you pay tax on that? No. So that's why I'm using these tools. And I've been using that particular tool because I took a lot of profit without paying taxes last bull run when my cryptos were sky high. So some resources you can recommend as a starting point for doing your own research. Oh man, I would go to YouTube and just start researching like Uniswap V3. And there's lots of tools out there to start if you want to get into concentrated liquidity. And again, if you want to, with us, you can start as low as $480 and get into that. So can you please send a recording? Yes, we can. How much should one start out with if they're on a budget? So that's a very personal question, Salika. But if you're starting, I would start off slow. I've had students that pay me $10,000. All right. And they started off with $300, but then they started making enough passive income to where that $10,000, but they started slow and they dollar cost average. So they brought that money in on a periodic basis. It wasn't just like, oh man, I got $10,000. I'm going to put it all in right now, or I have 100,000. I'm going to put, no. That's why I say to all my students, don't FOMO, slow-mo. So start slow, learn, and slowly add. We got time. Trust me, we got time. I signed up for ARC in 20, I believe, but I never set up anything or got started. I need help, please. Padmini, definitely reach out to us. I think there's info at arcrypto.io. and we'll get you started. We'll get you started like right now. Let us guide you through it. Or reach out to your onboarding specialist. They will literally walk you through and get you pointed in the right direction. What is Friend Tech? Wow, Lizzie Dollar is on it. What is Friend Tech? Friend Tech is like from what I know, all right, it is a crypto ecosystem for influencers to basically get paid using their Friend Tech coin. But from what I've read, it is kind of a Ponzi scheme, but it is on the Coinbase blockchain, which is the cool thing. Alchemist Taylor, are you still a member in the bar association? I didn't hear what type of law you practice. So I was not a lawyer. I was actually the administrator of the law firm and a case manager when I was younger. And I managed the law firms. I was not a lawyer. So I want to make that very, very clear. Yeah, if you're interested in Panama, reach out to me, hit me up. I've got the alpha for that. Let's see here. If we print our own money, we will all be financially abundant. Yes, you will, if you print your own money and do it at the right time, which is right now. What does the 480 annual package offer? So what it offers, we're going to give you lessons on what DeFi is, and then we're going to show you our top cryptos that we're buying. We're going to give you lessons again on what DeFi is. We don't go into it because it's very, very intense. We don't like actually show you how to get into DeFi, but you will have a excellent understanding of what DeFi is when you come into our $480 course. But when you want to get into like the hands-on, the workshops, it's very, very labor intensive. So, but it's not $15,000, by the way. All right. The top one, we have some things in the middle there that anybody can afford, and as low as like $300 a month. So if you want to like finance it, you can do that as well. Can you write down a list of apps, programs that you use to do investing, trading, sell? Oh man, Joshua, I love you, brother, but like there's so many. There are so many. I mean, you can use like trading view. You can use again Revert. You can use what are some of the other ones? Man, Uniswap.fish. You can use DeFi Llama. There's so many. All right, cool. Finally, a question for Ashley. Thoughts on investing during 6 planets retro? Should Venus go direct first before major money moves? I like that.
Yes, and Venus stations direct in just a few days on the 4th. So we're going to have so many planets retrograde. So retrograde is an inversion of the energy. So when a planet is retrograde, it appears to be moving backwards. It's not, but it appears to be. So the energy of that planet is inverted. So Venus represents balance, harmony, finances. So yes, it is thought that once Venus is retrograde, it's more about an internal energy. Venus has been in Leo. So it's been all about aligning us with our self-value, our worth, getting us really like locked and loaded so that we can now really shine brightly in your identity with your authenticity. And all the other planets, not all, but almost all of them are going to be retrograde, while Venus will be direct. So that is a time when it's really, actually is really great for learning, but Venus will be direct on the 4th. So I think like I haven't done much investing these past few weeks at all. I've kind of been just like really learning and taking it all in, but that'll be changing soon. Great question.
Awesome. I'm going to take out loans now. Just kidding. Don't any. All right. So somebody, Silo Bay, can you still do this with a 9-to-5 and a family? 100% you can. I mean, I do it with a family, and I'm the CEO of the company. So like, I'm not just looking for crypto opportunities. I am running my company. I do have a leadership team of about 8 of us that lead the company and have different things, but I do it. That's kind of my job, but also finding the opportunities to bring to all of you. So you can definitely do it. And I'm sure somebody's going to ask, well, how long? The first 5-6 weeks is intense. Come on. I told you, good old fashioned learning, right? And good old fashioned time and learning. So you're going to have to roll up your sleeves. If you want to learn a new skill, it's just like anything. Like I used to be a cyclist. It took me years to become a really good cyclist. It took me like 8 years to become a really good cyclist. All right. And I was like, really fast. Like, I don't want to say I was pro, but I was fast as shit. All right. Shit's not very fast. Fast as a rabbit, I should say. But yeah, so it does take time. So you do got to do that. Somebody asked another question that I was reading here in the chat. So I think it was Anthony Tillman. What about the government creating its own coin, trying to control our money? How does this work, and how do taxes work with this? Yeah, like the governments are like, yeah, these cryptocurrencies, they're a fraud. Like, come on, guys. The biggest fraud is, in my opinion, fiat currency, because they can just inflate it away, and they really can keep creating more of their shit coin, which they're going to keep doing. They've told you. All right. They're like, we're trying to get inflation down to 2% per year. What does that mean? Your quality of life goes down by 2% per year if your income doesn't go up by 2% per year. And so you're constantly playing catch up as the government does that. And the only thing that a coin, what's called a central bank digital currency, is going to do is it's going to allow them to have more control over you. Okay. And it's going to allow them to keep printing. So what's the difference? It's the same stuff right now. So it's just going to have a direct relationship with you and the government, which is never a good thing. And I personally think that the government is going to have to compete for us. Once they start censoring people like Canada did last year, where they cut people's bank accounts off because nobody wanted to get you know what I mean? The truckers didn't want to get that, and they started cutting off their jobs. Well, you know, that could be, let's say, for instance, you're pro-vaccine and the government is anti-vaccine, you know, then they could do the reverse to you. So I'd never like where the government can really take away your property. And that is what crypto is. It is your property. And that's what I love about it. Let's see here. All right. Somebody's in Canada. Are you offering installment packages for the 480? We typically don't, Ocho, but reach out to us. We typically don't, but like, if you really, really want to get into this stuff, let's get you going. Is there any amount of time after Venus goes direct that should wait to do any investing? Ashley, that's you.
Yes, it'll be a few weeks until Venus is totally out of its shadow period. But a good way to look at this is just reflect on like what has come into your awareness during Venus's retrograde period. Notice what came up, what thoughts, what beliefs, your values, and just be really mindful on making sure that now everything you are doing is in alignment with those values, especially pertaining to self-worth. So that was like the main theme. So it's not necessarily so much about the external timing. It's more about allowing for the internal to become into alignment, so the outer will reflect in a favorable manner.
Awesome. By the way, how many of you booked a call that are still on here? Hopefully a lot of you guys are booking calls. I want to see. I love the community, like the astrology, the conscious community. Definitely love talking this stuff, because it's all algorithm, guys. It's all cycles. It's all cyclical. And there's just a really cool, there's a really cool thing when you like can see it like that, as opposed to just like, oh, everything just happens by chance. That's bullshit. I don't know. I see a lot of you. If you didn't book a call, we want to hear from you. We want to talk to you. Don't be shy. We have options for everybody. If you don't have money, if you have money, if you have a little bit of money, if you have a medium amount of money, you know, like, let's talk. Star Homes thinks it's all bullshit. That's okay. You think you can think that, but thank you for the hearts. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Awesome. Sarah just started last week. Welcome, Sarah. Oh, she's agreeing. Okay, I was like, with this name like Star Homes, she's like, doesn't agree with us. I'm like, okay, hey, I'm not gonna hate. But it looks like she did. How do you book a call? Sean Wheeler. So Matt, drop the link in the chat. It's in the chat. Total Apex program cost. So Apex is, we have like live courses. We've got live workshops after we teach you like the theory. and walk you, like literally take your hand and walk you, our top coaches, which by the way, our coaches have all been trained by me at one point in time, and now they're training me. But I think our youngest coach in our group that's been working with us is now at least 2 years in the program. So these are not people from Timbuktu that we hire cheaply. We pay our people really well because we value good help, and we value people who, you know, want to make sure that people are educated right. So that's a big deal for us. The government is bullshit. Yes, Star Homes, 100%. I agree. Thank you, Jill. Oh, Jill, hi. What's going on? So anyways, guys, gals, we still have 146 of you on here. All right. Usually I do like a Marvel ending, you know, like there's like the credits, and then you get to the end and they're like, oh my gosh, wait, there's more in the movie, and it kind of like leads to the next thing. Do you guys want to see that? Let's see. Hold on. All right, but I need to see like somebody who hasn't posted that they booked a call. I need for you to book a call, because come on, I want to talk to you guys. It's not like I want to see what's going on. I want to see what's going on. And let's see who. So yes. Okay. We got some new. Okay. Booked. All right. Cool. Nice. Okay. Star Homes. I want to know who Star Homes is. Star, because I have a feeling you're going to come. You think the government's bullshit. I mean, I do too. If you're listening, I'm sorry. We're just breaking up. We're breaking up. That's why I moved to Panama. I don't like you anymore. You're just not cool anymore. Like, you used to be cool, maybe like when I was younger and dumb, but I learned so much since then. I don't love you anymore. It's time for me to move on. I'm cheating on you with another government that doesn't have a central bank. Panama doesn't have a central bank, by the way. I don't know if any of you know. All right. What do I talk about? What kind of alpha do I have here? Man, I really want to talk about our tokenized real estate marketplace, but we're loading everything into the marketplace. It's already built, but we're loading it into it. And I can't show you guys before our students. And I know some of you are our students, but let's see. What have I done in the last couple of weeks where all right, I'll show you something real simple. Some of you have already seen it. If you're my students, you're going to be like, oh God, he's talking about this again. But, you know, I want to show everybody something. Oh, my favorite amount of people, 143. I love all you too. All right, we have 143 participants now. So, all right. So Frax is like one of my favorite cryptos. You'll hear me talk a lot about Frax, but here's a way you can earn a real simple income, okay, by participating in staking Ethereum. So when you stake Ethereum, okay, you actually get paid an interest rate for validating the network. So before we used to have like, what's it called? ETH miners. So you had to do it like Bitcoin, right? But it was very energy intensive. And some would say it's not good for the environment. I think it's kind of bullshitty, but so they ended up going to something called a proof of stake as opposed to proof of work. And proof of stake, you just have to basically put your crypto in place and hold it there, and they will pay you an interest rate. Now, there's something called a liquid staking derivative that Frax has come up with, and this is how they actually make some money. But Frax allows you to basically put your money into a liquid staking derivative and earn an interest rate. But let's take a look at what the interest rate is right now, because it does fluctuate based on the amount of validators that are in the network. So right now, Frax is usually the highest interest rate that they're paying. And it looks like right now, oh, nice. So staked Frax ETH is paying 6.01%. 6.01%. So that's great. That's more than the government's going to pay you, and Ethereum is going to go up in value over time. All right. So I'm going to show you, though, how you can put an extra 3% in your wallet. So there's something called Fraxlend. Again, this is a borrowing and lending protocol. All right. And as you can see here, staked Frax ETH right now is paying you an additional 2.14%. So essentially, you're making 8% on your Ethereum in a fully decentralized environment. And I have some money, but I did borrow against some of it because I did some leverage trading. Let's see here. I don't want to connect my wallet. Sorry, guys, I'm not going to connect my wallet. So, but it'll essentially, you can borrow Frax, which is a fully decentralized stablecoin. In my opinion, it's the best stablecoin of all stablecoins. But essentially, you can then take that money and spend it or invest it. I ended up investing it, and I ended up putting it into a 3x leveraged position on Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I'll probably talk about here in the coming weeks in our group, and maybe like within a month or two, because I did talk about it last month. If you want to get access to that video, I'll send it to you for free. I mean, it doesn't cost me anything. You probably just want to skip to the end because a lot of the stuff that I talk about in the beginning has to do with this. So, but reach out to us and I'll try to get that in your hands. But this is definitely a strategy. So not am I only earning that 8%, but then I borrowed against it and I've actually invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum using leverage. Now, you have to learn how to use leverage because it's not as simple as just like, oh, 3x and that's it. You can get really freaking wrecked, guys and gals. And especially when you got, what is it? Is it Mercury in retrograde? Like we were talking about earlier. All right. Don't let the planets suck you in. You want to make sure you get in at the opportune time. And those are the sort of things that we talk about. So anyways, guys, gals, that's what I got. Any other questions for Ashley? Because my voice is done and I need to go to sleep, guys. I am exhausted from the last 4 weeks. I'm not going to lie. Going once.
Well, I saw that somebody had a question about, I don't know where it went now, but I saw a question that was about, they are a Gemini rising. So they were asking what that could signify, having Uranus move into their first house. So during all of COVID, we had Gemini, we had the North Node in the sign of Gemini. So that was kind of this pull towards communication, a lot of information overload. Then South Node was in Sagittarius, so there was kind of this releasing around a lot of ideologies. It was very similar to how it was right after 9/11, very similar kind of vibe. But so if you look back, think back to that time, think back to the things that you were maybe pulled towards that time in your life, and recognize that now there's going to be another kind of amplification on that, but ultimately it's going to be a focus on your identity. So maybe during that time, certain things came into your life that you wanted to be part of your identity, or things, your personality or your appearance, or just like the direction of where you are going. And then now is the time to kind of have some shakeups. But I have a client who's about to have Uranus conjunct their sun. And it's about recognizing that this is like disruptive energy. So just, it wants to be in motion. So like, be in motion so that it like helps you, right? So if you want to like launch a YouTube channel, like work with that energy to get that disruptive, like awakening energy. But if you're just like doing nothing, that's when the energy can be shocking and disruptive in a harmful way, or, in a not positive way. Work with the energy.
Nice. By the way, somebody asked here, what's y'all's sun sign? So I'm actually Leo. My birthday was just last couple of weeks.
I'm a Capricorn.
I've been meaning to ask you, Ashley. I was like, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So
I was born 1/1/1, and the Saturn Pluto conjunction happened exactly on my sun. So when I look back to like all the stuff that transpired for me, I'm like, it tracks.
Wow, that's so cool. But by the way, I also follow the lunar. I got like super into like qigong and qi, the force, for those of you who know. And like, so my lunar sign, or my Chinese sign, is monkey, but not just any type of monkey, the golden monkey. All
Mm.
right, literally, and look up golden monkey. It's really, really, I was like, yes, time for me and my students to make lots of money, and especially during this bull run. So get in. Let's see, I'm an Aries, Leo, Leo, Leo. Oh, dude, by the way, I'm Leo. All my first three, what are they called when you do the three?
Your sun, moon, and rising.
Yes, sun, moon, and rising. I am Leo, 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 triple Leo. Like,
Ooh, okay,
yeah.
it's a lot of Leo energy.
Yeah, my teacher was like, "Oh shit," but she was like the lion whipper. She knew how to tame me. She knew how to tame me. But yeah, I love being a Leo. I love being a Leo. Jill's also a Leo too. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to sleep. I love you all. Mwah. Thank you so much. Thank you,
And if
Ashley.
anybody wants to connect with me by anything, my
Oh, yeah.
my IG is Ashley Mosaic. Can
And I
DM me
would
there.
highly recommend going to Ashley Mosaic and following her. She's amazing, amazing.
I'm so happy. I'm so grateful and honored to have been able to, because it's so often I'm like, I don't know if people actually want to hear all this stuff that I have to say.
They do.
I
They
got so
do,
much data.
man. Yeah, you kept them in there longer than I did. There was, I think 20 people dropped off as soon as I started talking. It must be my gray hair or something they didn't like or something.
Oh, well,
But
something that we can all monitor for the we have a full moon on Tuesday, on Wednesday, not tomorrow, the next day, on every Wednesday. And so often there's what's called the GANs theories, the style of trading, and it's all about the lunar cycle. So at least during 2020, 2021, it was the new moons oftentimes brought some kind of, even if it was a local top, and then the full moons brought a local bottom. So we'll have to see if where we're at in that cycle. We had two full moons in this particular month. So this has been a really high energy month, and Wednesday's not tomorrow. Wednesday's full moon is, it's the second blue moon. It's the blue moon because it's we had two of the super moons. So it's really, really powerful energy.
nice.
So I'll have to see what the markets do.
By the
There's
way,
a little bit of a dip.
yeah, let's see if the Bitcoin ETF gets accepted, then it could be a lift. If it doesn't, it could be a dip. So we'll see. We'll see. But I actually have a strategy for that I'm going to be teaching my students that I use ChatGPT. Is really cool. Real quick, before we actually get off, Marte Lovebay is interested in getting signed up. So let's get Matt. Marte put a link in the chat. Okay. And you just click on that link, Marte, and book a call. That's it. So hopefully you're still there. I don't know if you are, but I see your hand is still raised. So let's get you talking to one of our onboarding specialists, and let's see what we can do to get you rocking and rolling. Yeah, double full moon for August. Powerful. Come on. The Leos are the best. We're definitely the best, without a doubt. You can tell I'm a Leo now. No, just kidding.
Well, it's no longer Leo season now. Now it's Virgo season. So
it's always Leo season to me. So oh man, yeah, Jill's a Leo. Start Home's mother is a Leo. So cool. Such a thing as a Leo. Yeah, exactly. Such a Leo thing to say. Exactly. Everybody's always like, oh, I'm a Virgo, I'm a Libra, and I'm always like, what month is that? Like, we Leos only care about Leo. We think we're the best.
But you're the sun. You're the
I
sun.
know.
So
we're the sun.
you
We're
have
the
to.
sun.
That's what Leos teach other people. If you shine bright, the brighter you shine, you illuminate other people. And that's the thing about Leos, whether the gregarious, benevolent leader, because you encourage others to also shine.
Yeah, 100%. And like my daughter's Libra, and so, but oh man, she's like the love of my life, and she's got to have some Leo inside of her. She's got to have some Leo light inside of her, because she's always chatty Gabby and super, like the light of the party. She'll like get in an elevator and start yelling at people and smiling. It's really cool. Yeah, Libras and Leo. Trust me, I read up on Libras as soon as she was born. She was almost a Scorpio, which some of my best friends are Scorpios. So I don't want to say anything bad, but I've also butted heads. So she was almost a Scorpio. And I was like, Okay. Not that it's a bad thing to be a Scorpio, because scorpions are cool. I almost stepped on one running the other day, but yeah, Libras are Libras to Leos are just a little bit more of a better compatibility. That's what I'll say. But anyways, all right. Ashley, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, find Ashley on Instagram, follow her. She's got some great content, and we'll do this again.
Yay.
All right. Cheers, guys.